The night shattered with a crack, sharp as a gunshot, my circuit breaker snapping inside the shed. The lights gave one last flicker before dying, my electric saw groaning to a stop. The backup generator? Silent. Bone dry. I figured another raccoon had chewed through a wire. But when I stepped into the shed, I noticed an extension cord slinking beneath the back wall, leading out toward the community greenway. A knot tightened in my stomach. I followed the cord, the sound of something charging growing stronger with each step. As I turned past the hedge, I almost burst out laughing. There, crouched like a bargain bin bandit, was HOA President Linda. She had her cherry red golf cart plugged into my solar-powered shed like she owned the place. The audacity hit me like a slap. Later, iced tea in hand on the porch, I replayed the shed's camera footage, and a devilish idea sparked. I glanced over at the electric hum of the bull fence and grinned. If Linda wanted power, I'd give her a little shock she wouldn't soon forget. Morning came with the usual racket, roosters crowing, a neighbor's leaf blower whining, but I was already on edge. Linda's midnight thefts had sucked my batteries dry, cutting power to my chicken feeders and leaving my flock screeching with hunger. Tire tracks carved into the grass near my fence told the story of her joyriding. By mid-morning, she had the nerve to stroll up in a floppy hat and oversized shades, waving an HOA violation slip in my face. "James, those solar panels on your shed are way too reflective for the trail," she said with a smug little grin. "Also, some folks are whispering about someone hogging all the power. Just a friendly reminder." She handed over the citation and turned on her heel before I could even confront her. Her guilt was written as plainly as the tire marks she left behind. I spent that afternoon combing through 2 weeks of camera footage. Night after night at exactly 2 a.m., Linda appeared, cord in hand, sneaking in to plug her golf cart into my outlet, scrolling on her phone while it charged. Then she'd leave the cord hanging, like I wouldn't catch on. This wasn't a one-time thing. It was a routine, and she clearly thought I'd stay quiet. She didn't realize I was raised on a ranch, where you learn early never to mess with a bull or its power grid. That evening, I got busy. I rerouted the outlet to a dummy plug, wired it to my bull fence's energizer, the kind made for 1,200-pound beasts. I set up a failsafe to shield my system, installed extra cameras from every angle, and I swapped the shed's light bulb for a soft blue LED, something to draw her in. Linda was about to stroll straight into a trap. The following night, her sequined jacket caught the moonlight as she crept through the hedges. She plugged in her golf cart, none the wiser. Then, snap, sizzle, scream. The sound cracked through the night. Linda jumped back like she'd been launched. Her wig took flight, her glasses hit the ground, and she tumbled into a bush like a scene from a Saturday morning cartoon. Her golf cart sparked, rolled off into a ditch, and sputtered out. "This man set a death trap," she screeched, scrambling away, the cord dragging behind her like a beaten dog. I laughed so hard I nearly choked, replaying the footage over and over until sunrise. By the time morning hit, Linda came charging down the trail with 2 HOA flunkies, waving her arms like a dictator on a rampage. "James, your dangerous outlet injured a resident," she shouted, barely holding back rage. I folded my arms. "You mean the outlet in my private shed, where someone trespassed?" Then I played the clip, her plugging in, getting shocked, flailing into the bushes. One of the HOA lackeys fought to keep from laughing. "That's connected to a clearly posted bull fence," I added. Linda's jaw tightened. She didn't have a word, just muttered as they retreated. But she wasn't done. The next day, a red-stamped HOA notice hit my mailbox, accusing me of having an unsafe security setup and putting the neighborhood at risk. Within 24 hours, 3 more citations rolled in, including one claiming my shed was unpermitted and too visible. Linda had declared war, and she wasn't playing clean. That night, my shed's power flickered again. But this time, it wasn't Linda. It was Tamia, a nervous teen, probably acting on her behalf, who tried sneaking in to plug a cord. The moment I shouted, she bolted. Linda was farming out her sabotage now. By the next morning, the neighborhood board's cork wall was plastered with a flyer, "Electrical Danger Alert." It featured a grainy photo of my shed, warning that my wiring posed a threat to children and pets. She was collecting signatures to shut down my solar rig. Fear-mongering was her strategy, but I wasn't about to fold. I got on the phone with the county's electrical inspector and a compliance officer. They came out, did a full inspection, and gave my setup a glowing review. What they did find was a cable snaking from Linda's house through the hedge into my paddock. It led to an illegal junction box, siphoning neighborhood power to run her golf cart and backyard fountain. The inspector handed out a citation on the spot. The utility company followed up with fines for unauthorized connections. Linda's entire operation everything was collapsing around Linda, and I hadn't even had to lift a finger. Still, she pushed back, rallying neighbors for a petty inspection parade, pointing out my fence, the color of my shed, even calling my wind chimes visual pollution. I waved from my porch while my dog Buck barked right on cue. What she didn't know was that I'd already reported her to the HOA Oversight Council. Turns out she'd been hiding ties to a developer with eyes on our community greenway, planning to cut a golf cart path right through my property. Her little electricity stunt? Just the opening act. Then Monday hit, and chaos came with it. A county officer flagged her home's electrical panel as hazardous. Her cart sat useless, her HOA allies whispered betrayal, and her closest confidant, Greg, disappeared entirely. A motion of no confidence began picking up steam. Linda unraveled. She was on the trail, megaphone in hand, ranting about HOA corruption while waving her failed petition like a white flag. Neighbors filmed her from their porches, unmoved and more amused than outraged. Her reign was disintegrating. Just 2 nights before the vote, security footage caught her sneaking up to my fence, bolt cutters glinting in hand. Buck's bark and the motion-activated spotlight hit her at once. She froze, dropped the tool, and ran like she'd seen a ghost. I filed a trespassing report, video and all. The deputy laughed. She's straight out of a soap opera. At the crowded HOA meeting, her usual calm cracked under pressure. Her excuses about the wires, the power siphoning, the citations, they didn't hold. When the vote was counted, it was 4-1. Her own was the single number she slunk out of that meeting like a ghost of herself, her golf cart still lifeless. With her gone, things calmed down, but I kept my guard up. One night, I noticed the bull paddock gate hanging ajar. The shed door sat open. Inside, the electric fence control box had wires snipped and lazily retaped. I checked the footage. Sure enough, at 10:03 p.m., Linda appeared in a hoodie, wielding cutters like some kind of bargain bin spy. I sent everything to my cousin Mark. He's a lawyer. And to the sheriff. This wasn't petty anymore. Cutting into a livestock fence could have let my bull Brutus loose. That wasn't a prank. It was dangerous. Then Clara, a neighbor, called, whispered that Linda was now spreading wild rumors about my paddock being booby-trapped, about a fake deal with a tech company to build a data center. Her desperation had taken a dark turn. Sometime past midnight, she came back again, this time with a crowbar, prying at my shed door. I flipped the floodlight. "You're on camera. Sheriff's en route," I said, phone already recording. She froze mid-pry, then sagged as the patrol lights rolled in. No yelling this time, just quiet defeat as they cuffed her. The neighborhood blew up. A clip of her arrest made it onto the local forum. HOA Queen meets justice. Meme after meme followed. One showed her golf cart wrapped in crime scene tape. Another crowned Brutus for HOA president. The HOA. They issued a full disavowal, scrubbed her from the website. Every trace erased. Then came the real bombshell. Turns out Linda's illegal wiring hadn't just hijacked my solar. It had tapped into a municipal relay tied to the fire dispatch tower, potentially interfering with emergency systems. That got the attention of the State Infrastructure Protection Division. Agent Carter contacted me, requesting a formal statement. What started as petty power theft had escalated into a full-blown state-level offense. When word spread through the neighborhood that her little scheme had nearly compromised a storm response, people were livid. Her reputation tanked overnight. Her house hit the market within a week. Her name whispered like a warning. The HOA held emergency elections. Greg, her old right-hand man, was voted in, on a platform of transparency and no more nonsense. The community shifted. Folks came together, painting barns, lending tools, hosting Sunday cookouts. A neighborhood kid even painted a mural on my shed. Brutus in sunglasses crushing a golf cart under one hoof. Instant legend. A developer, formerly one of Linda's silent backers, approached with a massive offer to buy trail access through my land. I didn't sell. Instead, I leased a narrow strip on my terms. Brutus kept his shade tree, quiet hours enforced, and educational signs posted about livestock safety. At Brutus's celebration party, we grilled under string lights and replayed the now famous video of Linda Get